Hi everybody, this is Silvia Pancaro, MoonCoach, and thank you very much for having registered for the presentation and for the Taurus and Scorpio Lunar Journey 2020. As you know, I decided to open this up and do it at no charge for this particular cycle because of the situation that we're in globally, in my hopes that together we can dream a new Earth and do it, of course, within the energy of the Taurus-Scorpio lunar cycle. I chose that because, of course, the new moon itself, the new beginning, in an astrological way, in a lunar astrology way, was on the 22nd at 10:26 p.m., which was coincidentally Earth Day. So it felt energetically correct to find a way to support the community, bringing in the particular qualities that Taurus represents. And I say Taurus and Scorpio because in astrology we work with an entire axis. It's never one sign on its own. It's just one end of a continuum, of an energetic or archetypal continuum. So when we say Taurus, we must therefore bring its polar opposite archetype, being Scorpio, into play here. When we speak of Aries, we can't get away from the fact that on the other end of that same spectrum is Libra, and so on and so forth throughout the entire zodiac. So I'll address the fact too that we are entering into, we're at an overlap stage. It doesn't happen on one day, on 1 month, in 1 year. When we change ages, astrological ages, and we say the age of Aquarius, it's a misnomer to think that it's just Aquarius. It pulls in the energy of the opposite sign, being Leo. So what we're talking about with the age of Aquarius and Leo is a continuum that brings in the qualities of both signs. Aquarius, of course, is that humanitarian pull to come together, to bring ourselves into group or collective consciousness in an awakened manner. And at the same time, we must bring in Leo, which rules the heart in medical astrology. It rules the heart chakra, energetically speaking. It rules our unique, glorious way that we shine in the world. So in order to be part of the collective in a conscious manner during the age of Aquarius, we must have tapped into our innermost authentic self, which inhabits in our heart chakra. And so there's this aspect of individuality that must come into play within that collective Aquarian consciousness. So this is really important that we realize how much of what we're seeing in the media, in the news. I don't watch the news personally. I'm trying to unplug from Facebook and media because there's a whole lot of mis and disinformation and a lot of causing us to go into polarization of a negative kind, where we're moving into, we're supposed to evolve, awaken our individuated consciousness, the Leo part of the spectrum, in a manner that is truly heart-centered in sharing of ourselves within that collective, maintaining that sense of, unique, I am who I am, and I am happy to be on the stage of my life, but I'm also part of a community, and we can all have different ideas and philosophies and ways of expressing our solar heart self without losing ourselves in that collective consciousness. But what's happening right now is that we're being separated. Either we're trying to be pushed into one agreed upon, manipulated system, and just being cornered, like sheep are cornered, right? And be forced to believe in just one way and accept just one truth. And instead of, let's everybody come together and let's see how many of us can coincide on a higher principle, so that the way that we show up for each other, the way that we show up for the collective, goes beyond all the separatist and division of who we are. We are being also manipulated into separating our physical bodies, and that's Taurus, from the more expanded spiritual sense of who we really are in our most empowered self. That's the Scorpio end of the spectrum. So there's a lot of overlap, and I just wanted to mention that my intention for doing this together here is to try to find common ground, bring in our unique specialties, and find ways that we can cooperate, collaborate to bring in a new earth paradigm. Because the way that it's been working hasn't been working. We all know that. And the way that the media is going on about everything, whether you're on the side of, yes, give me the vaccine, or hell no, I'm not going to let that evil Bill Gates inject stuff into us. You know, let's find a place where we can, like I said, collaborate and dream something better for ourselves, for our loved ones, for each other, and for future generations, because this isn't something that's just 2020. This leads into the next 2,000 plus year cycle. And of course, like I said, that's the age of Aquarius, Leo. And I really feel that this particular cycle, this Taurus Scorpio cycle, can be pivotal and foundational in how we actually come into the creation, the dreaming it forth, the bringing it into full moonifestation. So that said, that was my little intro. Once again, if you don't mind, I would love to ensure that everybody can hear me. It looks like there's some questions and things here. Questions, let's see. All right, it appears that everything's okay. So I know that a couple of you have work that you've got to get to. So that said, I will obviously try to get through this within about a 2 to 2.5 hour time frame. I'm notorious for going over, so I will not, I'll be okay. I won't take it personally if you have to leave. I know at least one of you has to leave within an hour. So that said, I always do everybody's charts at the end, towards the end of the PowerPoint and towards the end of our talk. So if you want me to still go over your chart, just know to come back to the recording and watch that portion, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and start changing slides here, yeah? So if you don't already know who I am, my name is Silvia Magdalena Pancaro. I am MoonCoach. I am the creatrix of MoonCoaching and many, many other creative programs that I have been facilitating for over 2 decades, really some of them 3 decades. And this is for the Taurus Scorpio lunar journey. And wherever it is that you may find yourselves in physical space, my intention in having made it a requirement to be a part of the free gift of the lunar journey this month itself was for you to be fully present at this particular webinar so that we can co-create a virtual sacred space with each other. And again, as long as you showed up for at least an hour of the 2 to 2.5 hours that I'll be doing the presentation, you're in, no worries. And that's because I really want to honor the people that have committed to being here now. So let's go ahead and take a moment to close our eyes. And I will play, which one am I using? The solar plexus crystal bowl, singing bowl, so that we can ground, pull back from and into our solar plexus, just our own energy. letting go of anything that is not our energy. Just imagining your roots coming down, down deep into the Earth Mother. The tiny and yet strong tendrils of your own energy body, connecting deeply into the core of the Earth Mother as she sustains us, holds us, keeps us safe within our physical body, our energy body, our mental body, our emotional body, our spiritual body. And through those same roots, let us send gratitude to Pachamama, to Gaia, to Earth Mother, for this beautiful, sustaining energy. Knowing that our bodies are an extension of her, and she is an extension of the collective human physical body. And from the top now, calling in the vibration of our highest self, of our divine beingness, inviting the archangels, our spiritual teachers, masters, guides of 100% pure divine white light to be here now with us as we open up our minds to exploring the Taurus-Scorpio axis and what it might mean for us. And opening up our heart chakra, the meeting place of the above and the below, coming into that space of deep loving consciousness that we each are, and together we are. Even though I don't have you guys on the microphone, speak out loud your name into this sacred circle that we are together creating. Silvia. Speak out the names of any loved ones that may be having a hard time at this moment, that you would like to bring into the sacred circle for the blessings and the healings that together we'll be doing over the course of the next 28 days. Sebastian, Marcus, Osvaldo, Dino, Ozzy. And know that we are being heard, that all whom choose at this time to remain fully present in the vibration of life, of abundant blessings, will indeed, through their free will, choose and remain present. Anyone who, through free will, makes the choice to transition into other dimensions, we release them with love. We offer our support in terms of our prayers for their journeys continuing forth, knowing that there is only one reality, and that reality is love. It is the love of the Divine Mother, Father principle that created life. What matters in this moment, therefore, is our own consciousness and what we bring to the collective. So I invite you to truly choose to be here now. Take a deep breath in, releasing, And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right, so having set that space together, let me get closer to the camera here. Let's continue. So we're going to be focusing on the Taurus energy. Taurus is the second astrological sign. It is the first of the earth signs. We have already entered into the 2020 to 2021 astrological year when we had the new moon in Aries last month. Of course, Aries marks the 0 point in the zodiac, the beginning. But we have these new beginning points every month. And so we are at the Taurus lunar month. We're already slightly over, 24 hours, not quite 48 hours into the new lunar month. And as I already mentioned, we're actually working with the Taurus Scorpio vibration, right? The whole spectrum. But most of what I'm going to share with you today has to do with Taurus. And if you're asking yourselves, in case you're new to astrology or new to my work, and you say, oh, but Sylvia, I'm not a Taurus. Well, I'm going to say, oh, yes, you are. You have all 12 signs within your archetypal makeup, that you have all of the planets represented in different configurations. And that's what, of course, we're going to be focused on later on, is to find where the Taurus Scorpio spectrum or axis lies within your divine blueprint, within your astrology chart. And that's the focal point for this cycle, for this lunar journey. So hopefully you've had a chance to go into the forum, and I'm going to walk you through how to get through the forum, because there's a lot of information in the Lunar Journey forum, and I don't want you to get lost in there. So I'll walk you through, but I'll leave that for the last bit of the webinar, okay? But you'll have access to all of the dates, all of the information. The two main dates are the new moon at 4 degrees of Taurus, which was April 22nd at 10:26 p.m. Eastern time. And the full moon will be on the 7th of May at 6:45, it should say a.m., all right? So those are the two main points in this calendar month that you'll definitely want to take stock of. Make sure you've marked it on your calendar. The remaining dates are, like I said, in the forum, but I'm also going to have a slide that shows you the rest of the dates. Let me see if there's any questions here. No, okay. Just quickie, everything comes from my moon coaching program as well as the moon coaching playbook. So if you have a copy of previous year's playbook, then you'll want to read along in the Taurus chapter. And as I said, what we're going to work with and look at later on in the webinar is your particular chart. However, if you've printed out a copy of it like I suggested and have a notebook handy, I would highly suggest and encourage you to take notes. If you're familiar with the symbols, just take note of the Taurus section, but I'm going to pinpoint that for you later on. But in any case, whatever resonates for you of what I share with you today, take note, make note of that, because it will be relevant to you regarding your experience in this cycle, you know, allowing yourself to take in and absorb so that you can have those experiences that lead you into a greater connection with the Taurus Scorpio spectrum in your consciousness. And of course, it's going to be different for everybody. We're going to be looking at the house in which the Taurus new moon falls, because that's the area of life that you will want to explore all of these qualities. that we'll be discussing. I'm going to go kind of fast on this because I'd rather get to the juicy stuff, and I'm going to be covering this individually anyways. This slide happens to be in the forum so that you can, in fact, work with the topics that we are going to identify as the house or life area. So why lunar time? For those of you that are new to this, why? We work with the sun and moon and earth. When we speak of the moon phases, there's a little bit of confusion. People are so focused on the lunar part of it that they don't take into consideration that it's really a relationship between the divine feminine or yin energy represented by the moon and the sun, which represents the divine masculine or the yang energy. And in fact, that relationship, what I call the cosmic moon dance, is a way of plugging into both organic and cosmic time so that we can utilize these as portals in which and through which we experience life in a more conscious manner, so that we are in touch with our soul, being the moon, and our spirit, being represented by the sun. And why the earth? Because that's where we're having our experience. So all of the ancient cultures that spoke of the Holy Trinity, for example, in Catholicism or Christianity, of course, within pagan traditions, we have the triple goddess. It all has to do with this combination of sun as spirit, yang, the creative seed, and moon as the vessel, the cauldron, the womb itself of life, being the mother, and yin energy that holds and develops the solar seed within her body, and then gives birth, what comes of that relationship, of that dance between the feminine and masculine, is the earth. It is us. It is who we are. So we're actually playing with these creative energies in being able to give birth to a dream, an intention, a goal, using a very well-designed system that Mother Nature, Cosmos, God, Goddess, all that is, gave us through astrology, but specifically through the lens of the solely lunar cycle, and which I have devised in my moon coaching, it's just in moon coaching, which is what I created. So I've stepped it down, and you're going to see that in the forum, as well as on the websites in general. There's a general explanation of it, where each one of the main 8 phases of that solely lunar relationship represents particular activities, or in some cases non-activity, being, for example, the balsamic, the final 8th step. So there's an actual process that you can utilize in order to bring about and bring to fruition the intention and goal that you're working on. And as we do this, what's happening is we're unplugging from this, from the artificial man-made time, the clock on the wall, the wristwatch, and we're actually plugging into something greater, organic timing, cosmic timing. And the new moon is, like I said, the beginning point, and then we just go through that relationship, that timing, which is always a spiral. Even though it looks like a circle, it's really a spiral. But if you want to learn more about that, then I have the more in-depth moon coaching, how to bring your dreams into manifestation webinar. So let me go ahead and continue forward. I've already mentioned this. So this is, the lunar month is an entire cycle. It's usually between 29 and 30 days. It's when we start on, at the new moon, which is when the sun and the moon, as you see in these images, come together in a particular astrological frequency. And that creates a certain seeding of consciousness, an archetypal seed that is implanted from the yang principle, the sun, into the yin principle, the womb of the lunar body, and then, like I said, distributed to us on Earth. So that's what we're working on. Like I said, between 28, 29 to 30 days, it's always a little different, and it goes from new moon to new moon. And we have usually between 12 and 13 lunar months in a solar year. The solar year always begins when the sun hits 0 degrees, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, 0, of the very first sign that starts everything, which was Aries, and it's always Aries. And the date changes, okay? It's not always March 21st. It might be March 19th, 21st, even 22nd. It depends because of the certain astronomical measurements, but it always starts with Aries and it ends with Pisces. And right now we are in the second lunar month. I believe this year we do have 13. I don't remember in what sign. There's going to be a double, two new moons in the same sign. So everything that we talk about, I don't want you guys to just, oh, let's see, I'll just visualize it today because we're in the new moon portal and yada, 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 and that'll be enough. No, we're physical 3-dimensional beings with 5-dimensional consciousness constantly flowing in. So there needs to be a combination of both the higher spiritual aspect of our beingness, the part of us that dreams things forward in a manner of speaking. That's oversimplified, but we'll use that. And there's a part of us that's actually experiencing or doing things here in 3D, the tangible world, a tangible experience of life. So dream it and then do it. So it's not just visualizing it the way we always do at the new moon portal, but then each one of the lunar phases will give you a particular action step. The first part of the cycle, I'm already going into the moon coaching webinar. I need to cut that back, but just really quickly, from new to full is the yang part. There's a lot of actions except for the new moon. The new moon itself is like more a combination of yin and yang together, just like the full moon is both yin and yang together, okay? So what happens is in the first half of the cycle, it's more of an action, the action hemisphere. And then from full back to the next new moon is more of a yin cycle in which there's less external experiencing of the energies and more of an internalizing and processing of what we had previously experienced in the first 2 weeks. So every single one of the lunar months has its own flavor. Let's skip this one here. Let's skip these. And each one of those will give you an opportunity to focus on something different. So always, always have the sense that you are the creator. You're an extension of the creator up here, in here. You're a God seed. You are becoming a conscious creator with all that is. So at the time of the new moon, we have the power to create in the same way. And so just own that for yourselves, very much like what we see in the tarot, the magician who is focusing and directing the energy from the above to the below. And that's, like I said, in the first half of the lunar month. And then in the next half, during the waning hemispherical, you know, my Spanish is starting to confuse my English. In the second half of the lunar cycle, then it sort of switches and our experiences are returned to the upper level, to the innermost sense of self for integration. Oh, okay, so I had these out of order. So like I said, each one of the lunar months has a different energy. The one that we're working on now is Taurus, which is about building strong foundations. It is about recognizing our values. And of course, collectively right now, we have been in a moment in the big picture of eternity time where we're revisiting our values. You know, what matters to us? we're looking at finances and this big, massive collapse of business and what does money really mean to us in light of our physical health. We're looking at our physical bodies. We're considering everything that is material in light of everything that is immaterial. And from there, looking at, well, what really is important in the human experience. And also, and what I'm going to invite you to explore more about is beauty. That due to Venus, the planet Venus, who is the goddess of love and beauty, among other things, she also has a lot of say over what we're collectively plugging into this cycle. And of course, beauty isn't just, oh, how I do my hair. A lot of people were all looking at how much importance have we put on that external measure of who we are, instead of, well, wait a minute, there are things that are beautiful that we may not have recognized before in the world outside of us and in ourselves. And that's actually what I'm inviting you all to play with and create with this cycle. It is, in fact, what is the most beautiful expression of yourself that you can share with humanity. I'm just going to check, see if you guys have any questions or comments here. I don't see anything in chat, I don't think. Please do feel free to use the chat section. I do check to see if there's any questions or comments that have to do with any of the slides, as I'm doing now, to make sure you are, let's see here. I also wanted to find a way that I could see your faces. I have no clue how I can see that. Okay, I don't know. All right, I'll keep going. So the next piece is the elements of alchemy, which is one of my websites. This is, as I mentioned, is the first of the earth signs. Taurus is earth. Then we'll have Virgo and Capricorn. But all of the earth signs share certain qualities of practicality, of structure, of organization, of finances and work, of our physicality and our experience at the 3D level. So that there are some key phrases for you to consider in terms of the goals and focuses that you set for yourself. So some of the questions that you might want to journal on this month, as we, are on this second step of the cosmic wheel, is what activities ground your energy? Because as I started off saying, we are in a pivotal shifting of the ages and a lot of drama out there. And if we are plugged into what everybody else is saying, media, politicians, organizations, so-called experts, yes, there was judgment in that. I own it. Please, you'll get a sense that we're getting ungrounded. Like I said before, we're disconnecting from our innermost truth. We are being disconnected from each other, and we are absolutely ungrounded in being able to really tune in and listen to what our higher wisdom is trying to communicate to us. So that there in and of itself is one blessing that's come out of this quarantine globally. And I want to honor everybody that's showing up here today from different parts of the planet. Unfortunately, a lot of my fellow North Americans, US citizens, we tend to focus on just what we're experiencing politically, socially, etc. But the truth is we're all experiencing it in our own nations. So wherever on this beautiful blue-green gem you are. Of course, you're experiencing it through the lens of your cultural filters. But, you know, look beyond all that. Go beyond the politicians. Go beyond all of that nonsense and tune in and ask yourself, what grounds me? When all that out there triggers me and shakes me off my core, moves me away from my center, what single activity of, usually, not always, of a physical 3-dimensional quality gets me grounded, brings me into my body, and brings me to a place of stillness so that I can really, really listen to what is true for me. And I do encourage that the activity be one of a physical nature, because Taurus is Earth. Taurus is very related through Venus rulership to the physical body. So definitely spend time, not that, I mean, we absolutely all are focusing right now anyways on the physical body. Is the virus this? Is it doing that? Are these the symptoms? You know, what cures it? All these freaking questions, comments, suggestions, and, you know, aside, just put it all aside and just tune in to your body as well, and have a conversation with your body. So I'll talk more about the body part that is ruled by Taurus so that you can spend time focusing on that area. See, I touched it. It's the neck. It's the throat. It's our throat chakra. But I'll come back to that. And are you willing to do what it takes to firmly ground your seed vision onto Earth? So that part is specific to when you've got your intentions set that you're going to be developing and working with this month. And it could be something as simple as I'm going to go vegan or this month, or it could be something like I'm going to work on my business model, or it could be I am going to start doing yoga every day. Whatever it is that you've set for an intention for yourself. What is it that you're going to need to do to really stick with it? You know, Taurus is very practical, it's down to earth, and it is patient with itself and all of life. It's the celestial bull. So we need to be like the bull and take our time and develop it and firmly ground the intention in a practical way. You can continue with some more exploratory transpersonal questions, like what's your conscious connection to the planet herself? Are you an empath, and thereby, especially Earth empaths, sensing the shifts within Gaia's body as part of the shifts in your own body and consciousness? What can you do to help ease the pains of Pachamama or of others? If you're an Earth empath, what filters do you have in place so that you can process it in a healthy way? Because any empath knows that, again, if we're not grounded in our own energy, if we're not connected to our own bodies, if we're not able to filter out all this other stuff out there and be in the stillness of our innermost self, then that empath gift becomes an empath curse. And we are absolutely thrown off, and we need to find that way. That's why that first question is so crucial, guys. So how can you combine your personal intentions with that of the Earth's healing? I have this up in the forum, so definitely make sure that you are in the forum exploring everything. Well, I've already brought up that Venus, the planet Venus, is the ruling planet. She's our guide, our coach for this cycle. And we know that Venus has to do with love, desire, attraction, and magnetism. It draws to us. It's incorrectly called the law of attraction. It is that, but that's so oversimplified. It's really more about resonance. So check your energy, check your frequency. What are you resonating outwardly from within you, from within your mind, okay? Broadcasting. Because that's what obviously we're going to draw and magnetize to ourselves. As I already mentioned, the celestial bull, and by default the cow, we have these key words: peaceful, tranquil, stable, fertile, sensual, giving. If these resonate for you, jot them down in your notebook or on your chart. How can we become like this peaceful, restful being here who just pulls back from everything else, you know, which we're doing anyways for the most part, and notices the beauty around us, the simple beauty that surrounds us? How can we stabilize ourselves? And of course, because of the rulership over the physical body, then that's where we get the idea of sensuality with Taurus and Venus. This is just a slide from my Celestial Archetypes course, which begins on Sunday on a donation basis. So if you want to go deeper with the study of astrology, which I call the Celestial Archetypes Experiential Astrology course, and then do join us. Okay, the first class is free on Sunday, and then all the other classes will be on a donation basis instead of, I think my course costs over $500 for the full thing. But anyways, this is just one slide. And so we look at Taurus, Venus, and the second house, which is, let's just call that's part of the alphabet, the astrological alphabet. So what I wanted to bring up here is that this quote from the Quran: if I had 2 loaves of bread, I would sell one and buy hyacinths, for they would feed my soul. So that's the invitation here. It's what can you do from a physical, tangible level to feed your soul on the other hand and your body on the other hand. Let me check on time. Okay, I gotta speed it up. I might skip a few slides. You'll have to forgive me. I put in way too many that I took from the Celestial Archetypes course. So in the body, as I have said, Taurus rules the neck. So, you know, I have, let's see if this works. I need to be able to share my screen for a second. How do I share? I think this should do it, because I want to be able to show you. Oh no, I want to show the cam. Stop sharing screen. Let's see. Are you guys able to see me on the screen right now, or? Okay, let's see. So I want to show you the camera. Darn it. Bear with me. I just want to see if you guys can see the webcam. I'm looking at audience view and it doesn't look like it is. Yes. Oh, okay, good. Okay, so I hope that you're able to see the crystal skull that I'm showing you right now. In medical astrology and in the holistic perspective of the body in connection to the zodiac, every single one of the signs is connected, as well as the planets, is related to both a body part and a body function. So the head is normally Aries. Okay, so that's why I'm showing you one of my favorite skulls here. But what holds that up? It's this, it's Taurus, it's the neck. So there's a lot of weight, right? The skull and the brain and our eyeballs and our ear, everything that's in there, that's a lot of weight. I don't know how much an average human head weighs, but consider that and consider the rest of the body, and you have this tremendous responsibility that Taurus has in being able to hold that up. So right now, just take your hands and just hold your neck. Really connect your neck and throat. And just let's use one of my favorite Taurus and Venus particularly key words here for a moment, appreciation. Because appreciation is the fine art of valuing something, of pricing it, of really really we're thanking our neck and our throat for holding our higher chakra centers, right? The crown, the throat, the crown and the third eye, and connecting it to the mid and lower chakras, holding the weight of our minds, of our heads. Just, I really, really appreciate you. Throat, neck, all the tiny little bones that allow us to move and pivot without Taurus, which is seen as a fixed sign, and its ability to stabilize the head itself. We also wouldn't be able to speak our truth. Now hold your hands over your throat chakra and maybe speak a word or two out loud. Say it out loud with me. Thank you, throat. Thank you, vocal cords. Thank you for allowing me to be able to speak my truth. And feel the vibration that comes through your throat. And feel the sensuality of it too. Just lightly stroke your neck, your throat, and feel how good. It feels so good. And that's actually part of this month's experience, guys. It's to be able to support the overall vision that we may have had when we started off in the Aries portion of this astrological year. And if you have essential oil of rose, any one of the rose oils, and I like to use quality oils, please don't use the artificial stuff. The associated oil is rose for Taurus. But if you don't have that, pick any other one that resonates for you, whatever feels like a beautiful, inspiring odor that you love, Venus love, and just rub your neck with it. Put it in a little almond oil or whatever carrier oil you prefer, and just really allow yourself to sensually appreciate, love, and honor the Taurus area of your body. Okay, I hope that's clear. Okay, I don't know which one of you is saying you gotta go, but is that Kylie, I think? I understand. Watch the rest of it, and I will do your chart, okay? I'll have it on the recording. Oh, Kelly, okay. I don't really know how to expand this. So if you like that, imagine what I do in the full length celestial archetypes class. Okay, so here we have the mineral. Now I already mentioned rose. So because Taurus is earth, of course we connect with anything that is a physical, tangible gift of the earth. I don't have a piece of rose quartz in front of me right now, but I want you to pick any stone. This was gifted to me. Look at this beauty here. But pick any stone particularly the first couple weeks of the month, okay, from now to the full moon. And whether it's a small crystal, a larger piece of rock, whatever works for you. And again, same thing as what we just did, exploring and touching and appreciating our neck. I mean, here with this one, it's one of the agates, I don't know which one, but you can see all the different levels and layers of time that's been impacted. And, it's like, it's solid. This is what we're doing this month, guys. This is what we're doing with our intentions. We are making something solid. We're also asking ourselves, what in my consciousness of my own particular gifts, talents, and abilities is something that gives me a sense of solidity, that gives me a foundation that I can work with over the course of time and feel fully supported by it, okay? So if that's clear, I hope it is. I look forward to hearing what you have to share about that in the forum. So Taurus has to do with the roots that we grow into the earth, and you know, see yourself as in this particular image. We already did a little bit of this. This is Sandro Botticelli's Birth of Venus. And as I said, it is the law of attraction, but it's more than that. I see it more as a law of resonance. But especially it's the idea of appreciation and having an attitude of gratitude. So find things this month, first within yourself, to appreciate. And look in the mirror every day, okay? Look in the mirror. Venus is the mirror. So you're going to look in the mirror and say, I love you, Silvia. I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate such and such. I appreciate that that I am very creative. I appreciate that I am very loving with my family. I appreciate, and then you go on and on and on. But the idea of really extending gratitude first to yourself and to your own gifts, talents, and abilities, and then you express that outwardly to other loved ones. Taurus has got a lot to do with patience and developing patience. So this is also a great time to explore what it means to be patient. I lose my patience all the time with my dad, who's been living with us since my mom died in 2013. And it's been really hard. And especially lately, even though he's a very youthful 82-year-old, he just got back from Italy in February, right before all this happened, from his, every year he goes and he does his tango tour and performs tango with a musical instrument, not dancing. Dancers love him. And nobody believes him that he's 82, because physically and in every other, spiritually, emotionally, he's very youthful, you know. But he has been forgetting things, and he doesn't honor boundaries very well. So my patience is sorely tested with him. So pick someone that, or maybe a situation that tests your patience, and commit this month to developing a sense of patience and focusing, instead of, man, why does my dad have to repeat this and ask me the same thing I just told him 10 seconds ago? And he doesn't have, it's not dementia, it's not the other, whatever the other one's called, which I'm now forgetting, ironically. It's not that. He's just not paying attention, and that's what triggers my lack of patience. So instead of focusing on that, the invitation to myself, because I have to do this too, I'm not just inviting you to do it, is to focus on something that I'm grateful for about my father. He's very generous. He's very loving. He's very kind. He's very true to his Pisces self, like I am. So again, just find someone or a situation and develop patience, and focus to develop the patience, you know, take a breath, all this, and also look at something in the person or situation that you can be grateful for, something to express gratitude. Romance and the senses are very important, but my invitation at this time, since apparently you know, people that are dating others have had to put their relationships on hold and all this other stuff, you know, unless you have your husband, wife, partner with you and you're cool, of course you can explore the sensuality that Venus represents, in Taurus particularly, with your beloved. But if not, then, and even so, my invitation is to explore your connection with your divine lover, with the divine inner partner, because the opposite end to Taurus and Venus is Scorpio and Mars. We'll leave Pluto out of this equation for the moment, even though I use Pluto primarily, but traditionally speaking, Venus and Mars go together in this polarity. So I'll leave that for my class. Go outside if you can. And it's no secret on my Facebook that I disagree vehemently with much of what we are being told and forced to do. I think we need to do what we feel is right for ourselves. But I do believe that we should be doing social distancing only because we don't really know the truth of what's really going on. But I don't believe that we should be fully quarantined either. You can agree or disagree, but whatever you do, just find a way in which you feel safe for you and go outside in nature. I'm lucky because in North Georgia, we have our home on about 2 acres of land, and we're surrounded by woods, and no 5G on this property. But I can move around, I can go outside no matter what window I look out of. It's just all trees and gorgeous. What I'm asking you to do is find a piece of Pachamama, of Mother Earth, Gaia, that you can connect with, okay? And ask her to show you how you can ground and appreciate your innate beauty and talents. All right, I'm going to skip some of these guys. We've kind of covered a lot of this, and these are, like I said, from my, yeah, I'm going to leave this for the astrology class. I do want to make mention, since finances are such a big deal right now on the planet, the more that you understand what your innate gifts, talents, and abilities are, and really own what you're good at, own what you love to do, and find ways to expand that, find ways to express it more powerfully, to be present in the world with that, the more I believe we're adding to the collective shift in terms of money and wealth and discovering what it really means to be wealthy. That said, I'm going to leave this one also, all of this stuff. Regarding wealth, what we're discovering right now is that it's not just about money. Money is important. We can't survive. I mean, if my husband he got his hours cut back at work, at a job he finally just got after being a year and a half unemployed, not having anything to do with coronavirus. That's a different story. I don't know what would happen. We just missed having our home foreclosed. Thank God we had to file bankruptcy. And so, everybody's having some kind of financial initiation, and collectively, of course, we are. So it is important, all right? It is important. I chose to do this free because I really want to help everybody. But eventually, the rest of the lunar journeys, even if it's not my usual fee of $50, I'll do it on a donation basis because we all need to support each other in whatever way we can. Trades, we're going to have to come up with ways of sharing our gifts with each other until we come back into whatever new earth reality we co-create. But for the time being, while we are in this slowing down period of monetary stuff, I don't even know what to call it, we do need to focus on what our inner resources are, how we can access the inner treasure within ourselves, so that when we are put back out there, we can then say, okay, here's what I got to show. I don't know about you guys, I've been hiding for a number of years. I used to be very, very out there teaching, facilitating. I had developed my businesses very well, and then it all went down after something caused me to go into hiding. But I'm back. I'm back and making it official. That's part of my intention. So I really want you to consider how you can show up in the world afterwards in order to share your inner resources and the wealth of information that you have within your consciousness with the world. This is another one I'll skip. Let me see how I'm doing on time. I actually, let's see. We started at 1. Okay, it's 2:10. Here's another question, very important. What do I value? Let me make sure. Yes, okay, it's still showing. What do I value and appreciate about others, about myself, about my life in general? Do I give more credence to what negative media tells me I'm worth than what I know to be true about myself? And this is going to go hand in hand with the next lunar journey, with the next astrological archetype, because after Taurus comes Gemini. So if Taurus has to do about self-worth, what we value about ourselves, then the next sign in Gemini has to do with words, communication, and particularly the media, and they overlap because we're being constantly bombarded about our physicality. Oh, everybody has COVID-19. Oh, you have this. Oh, you have that. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, you're going to die. Oh, whatever it is. And it isn't just about the virus, it's everything else, because as soon as this is done, we're going to go back to the old media structures where, oh, you need such and such a product if you want to be beautiful. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. So this is why I wanted you to take this period of time in Taurus to really build your self-worth, to really take that mirror and say, gosh darn it, I don't care what the fuck these idiots are telling me on commercials, and whether it's beauty products or medical products or whatever it is. I'm beautiful, I am healthy, and I choose to believe about myself whatever the heck I am going to choose, rather than buying into the lies. And so we are preparing ourselves for what comes next. In Gemini, like I said, we're going to be exploring in the next lunar month the beliefs that we create about ourselves and about our reality. That's why I picked this picture with words imprinted on our body. But no, we need to, go like she's doing, close ourselves off to it and say, no, this is my body, my consciousness, my autonomy, and I will do with it as I have the free will and the autonomy to choose for myself. So enough on all that. All right, let me move to Taurus and Scorpio in terms of now the more transpersonal aspect. Obviously, we all have seen the pictures of, that's the good media, of different places on the planet that have been healing as a result of humans pulling back from being negative impact, having negative impact on the planet herself. So that's good. That's a very good thing. And I believe that we can continue as a result of the positive side of this quarantine and this situation for making choices that allow us to come out of it afterwards, honoring the planet. It is now seeing that we have this negative impact on the planet. What can we do beyond the old ways of doing things? Like we used to recycle, that was a way that we thought we were doing good, but it's more than that. It's more than carpooling. It's so much more. So collectively, we're being afforded the opportunity to find how we can participate in the collective unfolding of Earth's healing. Yeah, I don't want to skip this one. So appreciate your body as the temple for your living soul. Absolutely take the time to do whatever at a physical level makes you feel good, grounded, and connecting above and below, the celestial with the physical, the outer with the inner. So yeah. All right, so the Taurus moon coaching mantras. Let me see if there are any questions. I'm not really sure one of you has to go, but I understand you'll just watch the thing afterwards. I don't see any other notes. Okay, so let's see. From the moon coaching moon mantras for the Taurus cycle, pick one. One of these could actually be turned into your intention for the month if you don't have one, or if, or you could connect it to whatever we discuss about your charts. Audience. Okay. I recognize my talents, gifts, and abilities, and I invest them into creating wealth and stability in my life. I truly value what I have to share. I lovingly appreciate all people and events in my life, knowing that they add value to my life experience, and I likewise add value to others' lives. I accept and appreciate all the good that the earth has to offer me with an open and grateful heart. I lovingly care for Gaia as an extension of my own body. I joyfully luxuriate in my body's sensual expression in healthy ways. I deeply value and honor my body as a wonderful vessel for my soul. I see, smell, hear, feel, and know beauty in all matter and in all matters that manifest in my world. Life is good. So, regardless of what's showing up in the outer screen, keep affirming life is good, life is good, life is good, so that we can birth and a new earth and shift the apparent outer reality to one that is healthy, happy, and blessed in every way. So these are the dates. Again, I already have them in the forum. But if you want to take a snapshot of this and keep it on your cell phone, because these are the points at which you're all to come into the forum and pull your cards and share your experiences during each one of these portals. So in the forum, and like I said, I'm going to walk you through that real quick. You have, oh, there's not an eclipse. I forgot to take that out. Just disregard that part. On April 22nd, and we're still within the new moon portal energy field, okay, up until the 26th, at which point it becomes the crescent moon phase, and that's a different energy. We are dreaming, we are setting the intention, we are planting our energetic seed, and by doing that, it sets the whole cycle into motion, yeah? So step 2 is the crescent moon on April 26th, which is the time that you're going to focus by creating an action plan in order to bring your new moon dream into full moonifestation. So you're going to need to gather your external resources and allies as well as your internal ones, etc. And that's the day that you're going to come into, the next time you're going to come into the lunar journey forum. Pull a card related to that based on the prompts that I share with you in that particular post. And you'll take a picture of your cards and you'll share whatever insight you had about it. And we can all comment on each other's if you know, that's part of co-creating the sacred space, is if we have any feedback for our fellow travelers here, you're welcome to do that, always from a place of love and wisdom. The first quarter phase will be on the 30th of April, and by that time, we need to be taking firm action. That'll be the next time you come to the forum to pull cards and journal and share insights. The gibbous phase on May 4th is when we make adjustments as necessary and hyper zoom towards what we want to achieve by the, and again, I apologize for the word eclipse. There is no eclipse on May 7th. That's the full moon. The point of moonifestation, when we become illuminated and we can celebrate because we see results of this 2-week cycle from 4/22 to 5/7. Then we shift into the waning half of the lunar cycle, and we come to the disseminating phase on the 10th of May, and we share our harvest with others. Last quarter phase on the 14th of May is the reorientation, where we cut, we tie up loose ends. The balsamic phase is the 8th of the 8 moon coaching steps, and the final phase of the moon-sun relationship. And that's on May 18th. That's a point of distillation when we come to stillness and closure. So those are the 8 dates you're going to definitely want to jot down and come into the forum and pull your cards and share. Well, let me see if I don't know if I can do this. I was going to show you my altar, but never mind. If you can, create a sacred space at home, a little altar with things that have to do with all that we've discussed here today, and something that is representative of your particular intention. Let me skip this. Okay, so let's take a quick 5-minute break, guys, so that we can, get a glass of water, stretch our legs, use the restroom, whatever you need. So it is, oh boy, I don't know what it is. It's 5, let me use my phone. 2:18, so 5 minutes, whatever that is. 2:18, what is that? 2:23. 2:23, be back here, okay? And then we're going to dive right into the astrology, your astrology charts, and how we're going to bring in the energy of Scorpio at the full moon into this experience. Be right back. Oops. Okay. So about another minute and we'll start. I really wanted to be able to see everybody's faces on the webcam, but I don't know how to see that. Questions. All right, so we're starting back up. I'm going through, trying to find how I can check. It looks like there's a question. Is this lunar time related to our cycles as women, where our energy may be low right now? Oh, I can't read it. I don't know how to extend this. I will answer any questions within the forum because I do not know how to expand this. So I'm so sorry. Now, I want to bring your attention to something. I have a handout, a PDF, which you can see. I think you should be able to see it somewhere on your, whatever the little panel with buttons are. I don't know what it's called. It says MoonCoaching Taurus Lunar Journey Play Sheet or something like that. You can download that and use it because it gives you the dates, the signs, and that's one way that you can pull cards. That's a different way than what I'm actually doing in the forum. The forum are specific questions that follow a particular pattern. The handout that you're seeing there is different in that it gives you you can pull all 8 cards at one time, and it isn't just 8, it's actually 16. It's the message from the sun, from your higher self or spirit, and then the message from the moon or your soul regarding the particular steps in the Taurus lunar journey. So let's see, should I pull that up real quick? No, let me continue with the astrology charts and then we'll address things like that. Sadly, I cannot see all the questions, guys, but I should be able to. What? In that menu, it says everyone. Drop that down to choose everyone in that menu. Oh. Ah! I don't see it. Webcams. Oh, show all webcams. Woohoo! Let me see. How do I see everybody though? View everyone. Okay. I guess I can't see everybody. Oh well. Okay. I'll leave this aside here. Okay, continuing on. So here is the chart for the, well, this is a bi-wheel. It's what we call a bi-wheel chart. And what I have on here, in case you're not familiar, is on the inner wheel, and let me use, let's use a spotlight. So on this inner wheel that I'm going around and around, is the chart for everyone on the planet at the time of the new moon. This sets up the energetic pattern for all of us to work with. And we see here that the sun at 3 degrees 24 minutes of Taurus and the moon at 3 degrees 24 minutes of Taurus are together, conjunct. They are in sacred union, the masculine and the feminine, yin and yang, together to create something within the collective, activating this energy within the collective and within ourselves, you and me as individuals, this particular energy. Oops. That we have been discussing. It is specifically Taurus in general. That's the seed that the sun has impregnated the moon with, so to speak, and she is now distributing it to us. And by the time we reach the Scorpio full moon on May 7th, then we have something of both Scorpio and Taurus energy that we will be experiencing, that will be illuminated within our own consciousness, within the collective consciousness. Now, it could be something very big and obvious, or it could be something that's very subtle and very, that we hold in our innermost consciousness. So that really depends upon you. I disagree with the astrologers that my colleagues who make a big deal out of every single thing as if it has to a transit or cycle that seems like it's got to be something huge. Yes, it does happen, absolutely. But some people may not experience it that way. It may be something that is truly subtle. So please pay attention. That's my whole point with all of this, is to tune in, to pay attention, to feel what it is that is true for you, irrespective of whatever the truth is or whatever the experience is for anybody else. That said, I will add this piece here that the new moon itself included the planet Uranus, which has to do with, on the one side, sudden awakenings, insights, flashes of brilliance that come to us. It is, you wake up in a flash, just like that, towards something related to this Taurus energy regarding our own self-worth. On the other side of things, and it's more shadow-like expression, Uranus is sudden breakdowns, okay? But there's always this element of out of the blue, of sudden, of unexpected, okay? So regardless, I'm choosing to explore that we will have insights that come from our higher self, our highest self, regarding what is beautiful within ourselves. And it doesn't have to be, even in the collective field of consciousness, the negative end of, it's just suddenly coming to a major shift that shocks the shit out of us. I think we've had enough of that. So let's use this energy consciously to bring light, to awaken, to help usher in a conscious shift that we can all be participants within. So here I circled the that 3-planet piece, the sun, moon, and Uranus. And now I'm going to point out, there's the green arrow pointing here to the sun. On this outer wheel, that's where things will be in the cosmos, archetypally, on May 7th, 2020 at 6:45 a.m. Eastern Time at the Scorpio Taurus full moon. So we have the sun will be here at almost 1720 of Taurus, and the moon will be exactly opposite that at 1720 Scorpio, and of course Earth is in between. So let's bring in the Scorpio piece. If Taurus is about honoring our natural resources, about what we value about ourselves and about life in general, If it has to do with our third dimensional experience, which includes our bodies, which includes money, finances, tangible things of life on Earth, Scorpio has to do with the power that we receive from connecting to the Taurus pieces. If Taurus is our bank account, you know, tangible money, Scorpio on the other end is our inner wealth. It's those hidden treasures that are in our psyche that we, by virtue of the Taurus experience of loving and honoring ourselves, in Scorpio, we're literally excavating those pieces of us that we've not valued previously in our consciousness. So there's this shamanic medicine that's coming up that is physical and spiritual, individually and collectively, that we can die to what's no longer of value in our lives and in the collective field. And that is what's happening, you know, sadly. I'm not talking about the people that are passing on, because if I do, then I might be asking questions that not everyone is comfortable, but that's what Scorpio does. Scorpio handles the taboo shit. I want to know, what are these souls transitioning from the physical from? You know, everyone's saying that it's COVID. Well, not necessarily. And no, it isn't just that they had previous conditions that set things up and then the COVID supposedly killed them off faster. No, we have a contract to be born and to exit. Nothing changes that. That's between us and God or Goddess, okay? I have theories. I'm not going to go into it, but I am going to suggest that you question things from what they're telling us. Not everybody's dying from COVID. There's something else. And here's where the Pluto comes in. There's something that's being hidden from us regarding the truth and how we're being manipulated and being made to feel the worst within ourselves regarding the people that have transitioned, regarding the sickness, regarding all of this. Oh no, I'm going into a different territory. I can't go there today. Just, that'll be an aside. I want you to know that what we're working on is releasing and allowing to die those scenarios in which we have given away our power to subversive groups, if we're dealing with the collective, or where we have siphoned off our power, given up our power to people or situations or even beliefs about ourselves that have sucked away the life force from our Taurus self-worth and self-love. Okay, so this goes into really deep territory. I don't think that this may come up for you, so you can go in this Taurus Scorpio lunar journey as deep as you want and really do some shamanic work here, because it isn't just Taurus. Scorpio full moon will illuminate those parts of our psyche, of our soul, of our mind, of our bodies that must die. It is what it is. That the death is not necessarily something that is scary, the way that death has been programmed into our consciousness, but it is a transformation of our consciousness. Can we transform our consciousness through the alchemical principles of transmutation, of transmuting our lead into gold without having to physically die? Yes, absolutely. That's the whole point of working with a system like my MoonCoaching and Lunar Journey and other stuff, is to be able to do this work consciously while we are still incarnated in this flesh, so that we can then continue to live our lives from a place of that gold, you know, taking those resources in Taurus, polishing off the ones that we've been hiding in the cave of the Scorpio underworld, and say, ah, look what I've been hiding all this time. Look at this, I haven't honored this in myself. All these years, holy cow, that I've been hiding this one piece, this little nugget, you know, taking this stone and polishing, you know, first excavate it, guys. Do the Scorpio, Mars, Pluto end of things, and you pull it out from your personal underworld, and you see it's a rough stone. At first, it's just really, really rough. But the more courage you have, look at how now all that was not necessarily visible has now been revealed. Look at those layers, those beautiful layers of qualities, gifts, talents, and abilities that you had been previously hiding all this time. So that's what the Scorpio end of things offers us. Again, on a personal level, collectively, as a human race, as a species, as part of Gaia's body, how have we as humanity been hiding the riches of our divine / human nature, and how through the experiences that we are now going through can we polish and shine humanity to reveal what we really were created to express. All right, enough said on that. Let's get to the next slide. I need this piece. So what we're going to do next is look at your guys' charts, and I'm going to pinpoint what aspect of your consciousness is being invited to participate in this with this energy. All right, you can jot down keywords that I give you related to the particular house that's being activated by the new and or full moons. You can write up your intention for the month ahead based on this, or you can use the qualities that I share with you in the process of Moonifestation of the particular goal or intention that you may have already set yesterday at the new moon. So what it's going to look like is, let me get the spotlight again. Mine is broken and will be blank. I don't know what that means, but okay. Water. Earth is highlighted at the Taurus new moon, of course, and that's what the energy is throughout the month. But Scorpio brings in the element water. Okay, so those are the two yin elements, water and earth. How do they blend together? Water feeds earth, right? And whatever seeds we plant within it so that it grows into fruition. It transforms the seed in potential into a beautiful flower and the fruit that it gives. Of course, all the elements work together to do that, but you get my point. But if we add too much water, we end up with a mudslide, right? Not enough water will dry the earth out. So just play with that as well. You know, that's another little advanced piece from the astrology course, but it's certainly worth considering here. All right, so what you're going to see and what you've received from me in your email already, and I'm only working with the people that are in the webinar. I'm not going to do those who have not shown up because this was part of the deal. You had to be here. So thank you for showing up. And the innermost circle is your blueprint. It's what I call your essence blueprint. I used to call it celestial blueprint, cosmic blueprint, divine blueprint. It's all this and more. A blueprint, to those of you that understand architecture, interior design, that is my professional background, interior designer, is what gives us the plan for building, a house, a structure, a garden. Okay, we have a blueprint to work with in the creation, in the birthing of an idea, a vision, a plan. So that's what you are. You are all, we are all God seeds with a divine plan. And the chart will help us to understand our strengths and weaknesses and how we develop these over the course of our lifetime, activated by the astrological cycles and transits, so that we can further expand on our gifts, talents, and abilities, our life purpose, and also heal those karmic patterns that are our challenges, and to the point that we become free of their negative gravity on us and can transform them so that all of the challenges now serve our life purpose. That's what the astrology chart is. Okay, so the natal chart is here. Then in the middle wheel is a new moon chart, and on the outermost wheel is the full moon chart. So what we'll be looking at, I'm not going to be reading charts. If you need to do a full astrology session, I am working on sliding fee scale for those that have lost their work. Otherwise, my fees and everything are all at the silviapancaro.com website, as well as mooncoach.com. All right, so we're only going to look at where in your blueprint does the new moon fall, because that's the point where you're setting your intention. That's the seed that you're going to carry forward over the course of the month. And we'll do a quick check on where the full moon also falls, activating those areas of your chart. All right, well, that's fine. Let's see, do I want to? So as I do your chart, I'd like for you to unmute yourself. I'm going to ask you to just focus your question, not a question, we're not doing questions. If you know what you're intending, what your statement of intention is for this cycle, as I share a few keywords in your natal chart, unmute yourself and share that intentional statement with us. You can do it here, but I also really want you to do it in the new moon section on the forum. This is how we're going to co-create sacred space together in the forum, by sharing our intention there and our experiences. And we help to support each other by sharing, okay? So let me see, do I want to stay? Let's go ahead now and change here. Show application. I'm going to switch to my astrology program. I honestly have no clue how to unmute when the time comes. I believe you guys should be able to unmute yourselves when I get to your chart, yeah? Is my program, the astrology wheel, up on the screen? You guys, let me see, audience view. Yes, it looks like it is, great. All right, so who's here? Attendees. Karen. Click to unmute. Why won't it let me give you guys camera? I really wanted to see your faces. All right, so Karen, I've unmuted you. So just make sure you have your computer settings in the right way so that we won't have an echo. All right. Are you there, Karen?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. I don't see you on the webcam, so I don't know how to make that work. All right, so let me see, because I haven't looked at anybody's charts up until this time. I'm gonna grab the pen. Welcome, by the way, it's nice to meet you.
Okay. Thank you so much for having us. This is wonderful.
Great. I'm very, very happy to come back to life here. All right, so first of all, let's make sure that your chart information is correct, and you're okay with having your chart info on the screen on the video?
Yes.
So June 4, 61 to 28 p.m., Mansfield, Ohio.
Yes.
Is that from a birth certificate?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, I just, we always need to make sure that we have as accurate a chart as we can. So I'm gonna circle here the new moon, the sun and moon in Taurus.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you one thing here. Hold on. First of all, have you ever worked with astrology before? So I know whether to talk technical or not.
Yeah, I'm a newbie though. I took the medical astrology class with you, with William Morris, but I use tuning forks, but I'm very new to reading charts, and I still have yet to have it all figured out.
Okay, great. Oh, I'm so glad. I love William. Okay, so what it is I circled the exact position of the new moon in your chart. It is technically, if we go by the math, it is technically at the tail end of the 7th house, and I'll tell you what that means in a second. That said, in reality, I'm going to encourage you to consider the rulership of Taurus of your 8th house, and it is so close. It's what we call the cusp, that as an astrologer, I would actually read the new moon as activating your 8th house, not the 7th.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the keywords for the 8th house, and you'll jot these down, and then you can combine these with the intention, and of course with keywords for Taurus itself. So I'm sorry, excuse me. The 8th house is the area of our lives that is, ironically, it's all the Scorpio stuff I just talked about, because that is the Scorpio natural house. So it is the area of personal transformation. It is the house of our personal shadow. It is where we hide those pieces of ourselves that we feel uncomfortable with. And that's, for me, the shadow is not just, I'll look at somebody and say, oh, she's just too bossy, and we don't own that there's a part of us that's bossy. No, it's not just the negative things. I actually believe, and I believe that this is also Jungian, that the shadow also holds our most beautiful potential. So if you're working on excavating what's in your personal shadow, because of the Taurus aspect, and I'm sorry, because of the Scorpio aspect, and because it's in your 8th house to begin with, then what you're uncovering is literally those gifts that you were afraid to use. It's I don't know if you have been using the training from Will's course with the tuning forks. If you haven't, it's time for you to start bringing them into your career or the expression of what you do for a living. Have you started working with it externally?
Yes, I've been using the tuning forks for quite some time, using them in relationship to the charts. I'm just starting to get a grasp on that.
Okay. So bottom line is, whatever you feel are your gifts, talents, and abilities, do what I explained about polishing. My God, your chart is a perfect example of everything I talked about from an astrological and archetypal perspective. The intention is to truly value what you were born to do, to create, to birth. Because to me, that means you have to look at the sun. We all have to look at our sun sign. In your case, Gemini. There's the healing potential. There's the ability to use healing tools, as well as the voice, as well as sound. Of course, tuning forks is sound, in order to help others, to guide others, to teach others. That's all part of the gifts, talents, and abilities that you have. But then I'm going to go a little advanced here. I'm going to go look at your 2nd house. What I just said has to do with, of course, the sun in Gemini. But you see, since the natural house for Taurus is the 2nd house, you happen to have a planet in the 2nd house that needs to be brought into expression somehow, that you need to polish off. And that's the planet Neptune. Neptune is a direct line of communication to God, goddess, source, whatever you call that, the creator. Somehow there's a need to combine your sun in Gemini, right? Communicator, healer, with the Neptune and Scorpio in the second house piece, which is valuing your ability to, I'm getting soul retrieval. I'm obviously shamanic gifts here. The ability to translate information that may otherwise remain unrecognized in your clients, in your patients, and even in yourself. So there's something about being, what's that word? Hold on, there's a word, psychopomp. Okay, so the ability to enter into those inner world, underworld places that not everybody has access to. Okay, there's something about that that's coming into play that you can integrate into your intention and into your sacred work at this time. Does that make sense?
Very much so. Yeah, I'm very aware of that. I'm very aware of it. It's just how to bring it, bring it out.
So as far as bringing it out, what we would look at is where the full moon occurs. So if you do all that inner work now, the polishing of the stone, right? Then what's being accentuated or activated by the full moon itself is across the second eighth house axis itself. It's like it's all happening in the natural Scorpio Taurus house. It's almost like right now what you need to be doing is understanding Taurus and Scorpio, period. Nothing else. Remove everything else. Really understand what those energies are for you in your life, because you're literally working with the idea of the banking of your, I'm sorry, the investment of your talents, which is the Taurus end of it, and recognizing the hidden treasure within your psyche of these gifts. And as far as how it manifests by the full moon, you should be receiving some insight, some illumination from the divine if you tune in within that 2-week span. Both, I mean, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see the cards that you pull and work with the second eighth, Scorpio Taurus, and bringing in Gemini and Neptune.
Okay.
What's your experience of Neptune? Have you worked with it at all at any point?
Yeah. Again, with the tuning forks, Neptune is a fork I really enjoy. Yeah. Um, it does very much. So the work I'm currently doing is trying to. Actually, I just had a conversation early this morning, working with schools, and I can't help but not bring the spiritual piece in. But how do I bring it into a school system, with teachers, with kids, where we're actually honoring and valuing the body, mind, spirit aspects of things, and I'm using movement and sound to help integrate and elevate. So, I've been on the down low because I have this side to me that's very spiritual, and so I've got a group of people I work with that way. But the people I work with more in a physical way brings the spiritual aspect in to support people through this transformation and change is my calling. I'm on the transition team, so it's packaging it in such a way that people can hear what they need to hear without being scared. As my one friend said, don't talk the woo-woo stuff, talk concrete. And so that's been my, not challenge, but I tend to, I don't call it woo-woo at all. I tend to I have a very strong relationship with God, goddess, source, and all, so it's helping to support people, in particular people that are extremely sensitive. Like, so a lot of our kids today are really, they're wired differently. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's, that's my work, is I get it. I get it on a lot of levels. So helping to support the teachers, the classrooms, people in general in navigating these places of intense energy and change.
Beautiful. Well, that makes a lot of sense given the Sun in Gemini. Um, Without going into the whole chart, my suggestion is start with something local and small. You know, a small webinar for friends and family that have kids, and you know, start introducing the concept of working with the kids. That's actually near and dear to my heart. One of my original websites is Cosmic Child, which has to do with working with teachers and parents using astrology to activate kids' natural genius. But certainly, my gosh, with the tuning forks, you could do so much to alleviate any fear or anything that these kids are being bombarded with at this time. A lot to be said on that. Thank you for sharing that. So what I'd like for you to do, really everybody, is to consider whatever we're talking about with your chart and everything else we've discussed in general. And in the forum, and I'll show you guys at the end where to go, in your intro, there's going to be one part where you introduce yourself to the group. You pick a card to introduce who you are right now, where you are in your consciousness. Then there's a card for a space to pull a card for your intention. So you're going to pick a card face up that is a visual depiction of the intention you're setting. So rather than have you affirm, unless you have it clear right now, and in that case, please do share it, but pull a card that visually shows what your intention for this month is. And it's almost sounding like, how do I give form, shape, a concrete package to this that I am wanting to bring into the world, so that you can create a business, a career, you know, in terms of the healing work that you do. But do include a card to show your intention, and then I'm going to show everybody at the end how to pull for the new moon card itself, the guidance. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, hon. Thanks for being here. All right. Next, Joanne, you're self-muted. You can unmute yourself, Joanne, if you want to. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and let's see where your chart is. Here's your chart. Oh, here. And you're okay with me using your chart here? All right. Okay. So let me unmute you. Where are we? Well, let me unmute you. I just hit unmute, but itself. Attendee is self-muted and is muted by an organizer. So I am trying to unmute you. Joanne, can you put in the chat section or the question section? Oy vez. I don't know why it's not working. I definitely hit the unmute for Joanne, but it's not working. Are you still here? I'll go ahead and start talking about your chart, and then I'll come back and see what you have to say. So just making sure that your timing is okay, that the information is correct, and also wanted to know if the birth time is taken from an official record just for the purposes of ensuring that this is correct or accurate. I'm not seeing questions. All right, I'll just go ahead and go on. You don't have to speak, you guys, if you don't want to. Definitely do share in the forum, though, based on what I'm going to speak here. All right, so Joanne, oh my goodness, basically same as with Karen, because your chart also has, here's the new moon, right? 3 degrees for 24 minutes of Taurus, just almost at the cusp of the 8th house. So for you, it's likewise about the 8th house matters, okay? Especially since really the full moon will nonetheless also fall across the 2nd 8th house axis. So we also, in your case, have the activation of your talents that may have been hiding in that personal underworld. It's also a shamanic retrieval of those parts of you that you may have been previously afraid to share, been told not to, etc. It could also be an honoring, and this goes for Karen too. If Taurus is the sensual aspect of the spectrum, and Scorpio is the sexual aspect, there is this focus on the Kundalini here that can also be worked with. It is especially really for everybody, this is actually true for everybody because of the Uranus piece, that there's the awakening and moving of the Kundalini, the creative life force energy that is moving up in the collective human body, but in particular, of course, in both your cases, Joanne and Karen, this movement from the lower centers of creation, the sexual or chakras, up to and being able to actually, not all the way up, I mean, the Kundalini force is everywhere, but we're talking the sexual chakra and the throat chakra here. So there's a connection that's being activated between what you want to activate, what you want to create, what you want to birth, and speaking it out, expressing it out. The throat chakra is also our will. And certainly what we're doing here is saying, I want to live, right? Everybody in general, particularly in your case, is this will to live, this will to express your creativity in a passionate, powerful way that honors the best of who you are. And because in your case, we have Pluto involved, Joanne, especially at the time of the full moon, it's very close mathematically to the activation point, that we can say that there's definitely old values that no longer serve you, that need to die. There's this aspect of feeling maybe previously disempowered by some belief, by some emotional block, that the Uranian force is now saying it's time to shift this. It's time to take that block, and it's almost like a little earthquake in the depths of soul that take place to, just, plutonize it and bring it into expression in a healthy way. So I can't help but feel that there's something about giving voice to something that's long been kept tucked away, especially since, watch this, there is another planet that's being activated. Of course, it's the one that has to do with the voice and speaking. It is Mercury is being activated very powerfully by this. So I would say that something needs to be expressed in a healthy way, a part of you being retrieved. And when you do that, there's a whole new set of principles and values from which you will be expressing yourself and living your life. So those are the things that I can tell you about your chart right now. And just quickly looking at your sun sign and Aries. Yeah, so the gifts, talents, and abilities bringing us to your solar spirit, and Aries is about really living authentically and according to your own laws. I'm going to see if you have any pieces here to say about that. I don't see any commentary in the chat room or in your questions, Joanne, so I'm going to assume at this point that you'll be sharing in the group. I have clicked unmute a number of times, but it's not working. Okay. Well, I look forward to having you share your thoughts and feelings about all this in the group, okay? Bless you and thank you for being here. Okay, let's see who's next on here. Nanika. I'm going to, okay, I have unmuted you. And how do you pronounce your name, please?
You said it properly. Hi.
Hi. Nanika, I said it right?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, the benefits of not having English as a first language for me is that I'm always looking at, you know, the beautiful different spellings and pronunciations of names. I love names. I've always been fascinated by them. So what does your name actually mean?
It means Supreme Mother.
Oh my God, that's absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. My parents were not aware of that when they named me, and now I have 4 children, so you know.
That is beautiful. Well, I'm glad to finally hear you. I know you've signed up for some of my stuff in the past and you didn't show up, but this is perfect timing. You're here now. I'm so glad to have you join us.
That's crazy. You and I met many, many years ago, probably at this point about 12 or 13 years ago in person at the Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah, I remember. Weren't you a student of Marcus's?
Yes, yes.
You said you were. Okay. Oh, there's a little one.
Yes.
This is wild. Would you get a load of this? You also, I hadn't looked at, I just cast the charts and did not look at it, but get a load of this. You also are 8th, 2nd house. Everything I've been saying should be resonating for you. What I said to Karen and Joanne about just all of this. Do you see how the new moon is in your 8th house? So in terms of polishing that stone and retrieving any lost fragments of self, all of it, you know, you don't have the planets that the other 2 ladies had activated. In your case, we have Chiron being activated, and Chiron is a wounded healer. So similarly to them, because the wounded healer is a shaman, the wounded healer is obviously a healer, there's still that same level of the more you do your inner work, the greater clarity that you will have to be able to raise the overall energy, not only in your life, but in the collective, which is the whole purpose of my webinar, is to get us all on board. I just find it uncanny that all 3 of you thus far have this 8th house Taurus. So that said, did anything that I mentioned to them resonate for you as well?
A lot of like kind of grounding myself and kind of like working on what my intentions are during this time of crazy for everyone else, but it's kind of peaceful for me because I tend to live in a place of crazy and high energy. I'm not in Georgia anymore. I live up in New York. So it's been insane. So kind of finding those intentions and setting them have like made a lot of sense. And then what you just said about the shaman and the wounded thing, that is kind of hitting home because during this time I've been doing a lot of reflection and trying to figure out how my Aries energy has affected those around me, and, you know, working on relationships.
All right, so since you said that, I'm going to go a little bit beyond the new moon energy itself, and let's come back to, yes, also your sun sign Aries. So once again, like I said to Joanne, it also applies to you that because of that Aries piece, there's an absolute must that you include being fully you, fully authentic. That's your moral imperative. You know, the sun is always in each of our charts the one piece that is imperative for us to know, understand, and express in some manner in our lives. And so for all of you sun sign Aries, it's important that you really have a sense of who you are, having answered the question, who am I really? And developing your sense of identity. Aries is connected to a sense of identity, personal identity, which is then fully authentically expressed in the world, because as you express that authentically, you are actually creating, you're birthing, I mean, Aries is the quintessential creative force that is expressed into the world. It's in all of us. We all have it, but certainly the sun sign Aries, it's imperative that you bring that into this idea of polishing the stone, of identifying that which you're good for, yes, but also good at. And so because I can't look at the whole chart, but since you mentioned that you're looking at how to bring in that Aries quality into your relationships, you know, you have the Aries sun conjunct Mars, conjunct Venus, all in Aries in the 7th house of relationships, and of course opposing a lot of Libra stuff over here. So last month in particular, probably was very powerful for you when we would have navigated the Aries new moon and around, especially the time of your birthday. But anyways, that's something that if you're interested in a reading, we could dive into much deeper. But I do want to just address that you said that you want to be able to understand how to share your Aries qualities with others with whom you're having relationships as part of this Taurus piece, okay? So again, this combination of, well, what I was saying earlier, you know, here's Aries, the head, you know, with all that implies. And now that you answer, who am I as Aries? How can I express these Aries qualities with others that I love and relate to, not just family, not just your beloved, but of course, all your associates. And then what can I now do to support this is what you're going to be working with during the Taurus month, is that piece of supporting your Aries qualities and allowing the Aries to come out into expression in a way that brings that 8th, 2nd house polarity, which again is simply about valuing who you are and uncovering those pieces that need to come out.
That makes sense.
Do you have your intentions set, or are you going to sit with it for a little while and then share it in the forum?
Right now, my intentions are very much my relationships, but the other big piece for me, because I'm a small business owner and I've had to shut down because of all that's going on, it's just kind of navigating this new world that we live in, because my creative side is typically scatterbrained and wanting to do 10,000 things. So the intention would be to kind of hone in on what my magic is and how I can kind of share that with the world instead of being pulled in so many different directions and then not completing anything. So that's kind of where my focus is.
All right, so the intention, the way that I'm hearing you in simplified form, is to hone in on one set of skills that are now going to be called to share with the world as part of your creative self-expression. So we'll witness that for you. We'll see how that unfolds for you over the course of the month. Hold sacred space, and just adding that, keep there in the back of your mind that the skill set that's being invited for you to focus on has to do with Chiron, the wounded healer. Okay.
Got it.
See how that develops over the course of the month.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're here. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here. My love to you both.
All right, thank you. Same to you. Take care. Let me now go back to attendees down here. And we're gonna go, who's the next person? Kelly's here. Okay, Kelly, I've unmuted you. Are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm so glad to see you again too after all this.
Yeah, so good to see you.
Yeah, I think the last time you actually came to one of the local things here in Georgia. I don't remember what it was, but
it was a very powerful day.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so let me grab my handy pen here and let's find where it's. Okay, so in your case, now we've switched houses. It was funny.
Yeah, I was watching it.
So, okay, so here's the new moon, 3 degrees, 24. But notice how it's literally like less than 1 degree from the 12th. So we're going to read that. Just double check the timing. Make sure on your chart, is everything correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. So 12th house. So 12th house matters are, it's the natural Pisces house. So what we'd be looking at is the area of your life where you commune with source. It's dream time. It's the deepest layers of one's unconscious or subconscious, that place where you sort of melt into divine love. Okay. That's why it's dream time, because we shut off our conscious left brain rational minds and allow for our soul to travel into those innermost spaces of the divine. It's also on the other end of the spectrum, it can feel like it's our blind spots. Okay, so there is an aspect of karma here, past life karma. So if we were to say that you're focusing on polishing the stone to reveal your most beautiful gifts, talents, and abilities that you need to focus on valuing right now, that whole Taurus Scorpio thing, then we would say that you have access to developing these in their most spiritual, etheric expression. So, I mean, everything is spirit, but and especially it's almost like saying you're taking your spirit and you're giving it form, that you are working on polishing your soul, not just the physical qualities, but the soul, and bringing that out into your sacred work. And I'm saying that because, of course, the full moon is across the activates the 6th house here. And the 6th house is sacred work. It's also health. It's one's physical health, and it's what we do on a day-to-day basis. So it's creating a habit. Once you understand and you polish the stone of who you are, I'm you know what, this is the philosopher's stone. We're all doing alchemy here. I just realized that. So once you polish your stone, you're needing to express it in some way in your daily life if you don't already do it. But even though all of this stuff is not new to anybody that's on this call, and certainly you've been doing that, I'm sure. I mean, you work with tarot, you work with spiritual tools. So this is what I'm saying. It isn't a big deal. It's nothing new to you. But there's something that we're being called to do. And in your case, you're being called to do at a different level, at a new level, at a higher level, and include that in your sacred work. In your case, we have both Mercury, which is communication, and Neptune, which is communication with spirit. So this is very literal. My God, it's definitely communication with source and bringing in inspiration from the unseen realms, 12th house, into your daily work or daily life experience. And because of Uranus being involved, transit-wise, I would suggest you pay attention to sudden inspiration through dreams, just imagery that comes out of the blue. I would say imagery is going to be a big deal. Yes.
Yeah, dreams and imagery, they're very, very, you're spot on. I'll dream a recipe, for instance.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one thing, but yeah.
How can you bring that though into some manner that you can express in your work or service? Because 6th house is service.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go ahead.
I kind of feel like there's some past life stuff going on because I do feel really stuck. Just being just in the past few months, actually, just feeling like there's some kind of hump I'm not able to get over. And I keep going. I keep seeing myself in the back. What did I do in the back? And I keep seeing my mother there with me. So, and she's passed. She's been gone since 2007. So I'm kind of stuck right there right now.
All right. Yes, to past life, because the 12th house is past life, and it is past life karma.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and that the transit of Uranus is in there for a while. Okay, so and it hasn't even hit exact to your natal Mercury nor to the opposition of your natal Neptune. So this is a very potent, very fertile time for you to actually work with past life memory, past life karma. But it isn't just for receiving it, it's also to use the information proactively to create something, to build something of it with. Okay, I can't look up the dates to see how long Uranus is going to be in that 12th house of yours, but Uranus is a slow-moving planet. It takes 72 years to go around, so it's in there for a while. If you take 72 divided by 12, that more or less. Oh no, but you have interception, so it may be in there longer than the norm.
That's 6 months. 6 years.
6 years, right. So, and it just went in there. So this is a beautiful, opportune time for you to listen in. And I expect a lot of insights to come about through that. And the reason that we're talking about imagery is because Neptune rules images and photography, visual stuff. And because of it being in Scorpio in your chart, then I would think that the images themselves can transform, can transmute, can shapeshift whatever stuck energy you have. So if you focus intentionally on a particular image, let us say a specific tarot card, you focus on it, you meditate, you take that into dream time, and you let it simmer in the depths of your unconscious, then something is going to bubble up, something will transmute, something will it's like crack open to reveal the communication from spirit that's tucked away inside of it. So play with that. Well, that, I guess, did you have a specific intention you want to express here, or you'll be doing it in the forum?
I'm gonna think about it and I'll do it in the blog.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that's totally spot on.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty rich, what you're experiencing. Oh, and another Aries.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That's 4 of you?
Fire warriors.
All right. So keep that in mind too. What I mentioned to Nanika and I think it was Kelly. No, you're Kelly. Who was it? Karen, I think, about the authenticity. Okay. Oh, and definitely also focus on your throat chakra. Mercury is communication, right? Like I said, and we've talked about the neck and the throat chakra for Taurus.
Right.
Vocalize. If you can, use sound, but mantras, om, humming are all important for you to somehow be able to access whatever's trying to bubble up. Got it?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you for being here. I'll see you.
Thank you.
I'll see you inside of the group.
Yeah, great.
Cool. Okay, let's switch now. Who we got left? Yvonne, are you here?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi
Oh,
there.
okay, good. Hi.
Nice to meet you. You're friends with, is it with Kelly?
Yes, I'm friends with Kelly.
Yay. All right. Well, thank you for being here. And let's just double check also on your chart information up at the top, if that's correct.
Yes, from a birth certificate, yes.
Fabulous. Okay. All right. So let's see. Another 8th house person. Oh my God. I should have just done all of you guys together at the same time. So here we are. Sun, Moon, Uranus in the 8th house. Oops. Did everything that I mentioned to everyone except Kelly, who had it in a different house. But what I said to Karen, to Nanika, and to Joanne, and I think somebody left, about the 8th house activation and the 2nd house, did that resonate for you? If you were listening.
Well, I was listening, and remind me. I think we were talking about authenticity and coming to this space of. Well, and at one point you were talking about shadow. So does that apply as well?
Yes, it's really, I'll go over it for your purposes here, is the 8th house is the realm of our personal shadow, and the idea of transformation of our consciousness and being able to excavate in our personal underworld to retrieve that hidden wealth, and to take the experiences of lost parts of ourselves, those fragments, and bring them up, and polish. Everything that I've been saying the entire webinar holds very true for all of you, doubly so, because it's the natural Taurus Scorpio axis, the 2nd and 8th houses. So I would encourage you to take that to heart, polishing that stone, spending the month uncovering what you may have forgotten as being special about you, and finding a way to express it. You like almost everybody else have Neptune in Scorpio, and like almost everybody else, it's in one of these houses activated in the 2nd here. So there's also a spiritual communion. There's also a sense of bringing in information. Well, more than information, it's going to be in your case about energy. It's about bringing the energy of the divine into formation in a manner that is going to help the collective, because all of you that have, and myself included, Neptune in Scorpio, This is a collective planet. This is it's not, it moves so slowly. I forget, 200 and something years, I don't remember, that whole groups of us are born with that. And so it's as if what's being activated, especially that all of you guys, almost all of you, have that second, eighth housing going on with Scorpio, Taurus, naturally, that's saying we are collectively being activated to express, to tune into the divine, to bring that life force currency, to activate that Kundalini energy from the lower part in a way that sees it as sacred, and allow that to start to inform all the other chakras, to the point that we can say this is part of our power tools. And that's part of it too for you. It's, what are your power tools? How are you going to empower yourself and empower the collective through these gifts with which you were born? And in your case, let's take a look at the fact that you've got the sun in Virgo. So you've got to bring in the Virgo qualities as part of your gifts, talents, and abilities, as part of your power tool pack and your toolkit. So, you know, what is that to you? The Virgo includes service, it includes healing, it includes data mining. So, you know, it some kind of alternative means of dealing with the physical reality and the physical body. So let me ask you then, in terms of your Virgo-ness, what does that mean to you? What is your toolkit?
I don't know. I'm going to really look at that. A lot of things for me in the last, I would say, 2 weeks have been shifting. I've gone kind of into this womb space and am clearing out things, sometimes slowly, sometimes fast, but really looking at some old stuff and kind of removing, doing a lot of removing. And for me, I call that my shadow work. So looking at different patterns, looking at different things, and then I'm not sure how I'm going to emerge from that. So it's kind of up in the air, I guess. So my tools of Virgo, trust me, I think I've got 5 different things in Virgo. I embrace it. I definitely embrace it. And I have in a lot of ways, but in some aspects in life, it can, I need to shift from that and look at different aspects. And I'm hopefully bringing in some new stuff. So we'll see. I'm not sure yet. Not sure.
As you mentioned, you're not sure how it's going to be revealed. What's fascinating is that Scorpio, and Neptune in Scorpio in particular, is about the mystery. It is about this idea of we don't know, we don't have the answers. So I'm glad you're giving expression to that, because it's very important that we recognize that. And in your particular case, all that Virgo stuff, with the exception, of course, of the rising sign and Mercury, but you've got the Sun, Pluto, and Uranus in Virgo, all in the 12th house. So you and Kelly might want to share, bounce off ideas with each other, if you know, being that you're friends, because you both are having an experience of that 12th house. Her through the transit of Uranus in there, you because you're naturally a 12th house person. You're the only one that actually brought up that idea of mystery, and the 12th house is the quintessential mystery. It is the house of God, we can call it. It is that place where it's really hard to verbalize, to give some kind of 3D expression to something that's so far out, so far in, that has no image, that has no symbol, that has no word. And you live there. It seems like this is going to be part of what you're polishing about yourself, since that is where you have the sun in Virgo. So you know by now that the opposite to Virgo is Pisces. you have your sun in Virgo in the Pisces house. So there's this quality of what we would call priestessing the world, of being able to be a divine vessel for that energy that is indescribable, but in a practical way that is somehow going to be tied into your experience and your exploration this month. So I look forward to hearing what you have to share in the forum as well, and let's see what the cards reveal for you. And well, thank you. I'm glad. Do you have anything else that you wanted to share in terms of?
No, that's kind of where I'm at, and I'll look forward to setting my intention and revealing that in the forum.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for being here, Yvonne.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome. I don't know if I've gotten everybody that's yes, Karen, Joanne, Kelly, Yvonne, and Anika. I did all of you. Anybody else? I can't do the charts unless you're here. So let me now quickly go through the rest of it. I'm just going to bring this now to closure. And let me say that what I discussed is not just astrological. There's a lot that comes through that is intuitive. And that, as you can see from these wheels, there's an infinite amount of information to be discussed. So we only tacked on just a little bit of the new moon energy and a little bit of the full moon in your charts, because even that is as a portal to a whole world in and of itself. And as I'm looking at each of your charts, it's like, well, I want to go there and I want to go there and I want to tell her this. And, you know, that's what astrology is being able to unpack the beautiful multi-dimensional being that you are and play with and heal and integrate and explore all these different aspects of your beingness. But obviously we can't do it within this particular scope. I just want to say that as a disclaimer, that there's a whole lot more to who you are to explore in subsequent astrological or moon coaching or you know, whatever it is. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so let me move now to changing back to, where is it? No, that's not it. And let's close. Okay, so back to the PowerPoint so that we can close that off and then quickly just spend 5 minutes in the forum so you're not lost in there. Let me make sure the audience view is visible. Yes. Okay. So just a quick thank you to artists that have had that I shared pictures of in the presentation. And now I am going to go to let's go to the forum. Okay. Nope, that's not it. All right. So here's the, I'm highlighting up here what the domain is. This is a special private one, not the main Lunar Journey website. If you want to go to the main Lunar Journey website, you go here, okay? And that gives you a bunch of information in general. But this is always going to be the main forum that's only whoever signed up for. So nobody sees this other than you guys and 2 more people, I think, that signed up but didn't show up. Oh, I know what I forgot. I was supposed to do Kylie's chart. So Kylie, I'll do yours after this portion. So stay on, Kylie, and I'll do your chart afterwards. All right, since you're not here, that you had to leave early, and thank you for making it. I know that you had to go to a meeting with your boss, so thank you for that. Okay, so you're on the main page of the forum, right? Where it says start here instruction. This is just some general, it's going slow. There's just a short video here, a step-by-step, another. These are just general things that might help you to understand what this forum is and how to play with it. You don't necessarily have to see all that, since I'm walking you through it right now. This is where you absolutely must go. You click on Taurus Key Themes. And in here, this explains what the general vibration is for this month. There's a little intro video. It's like, I don't know, a few minutes, but this is the one you need to go to. Taurus, the architect. So aside from everything that I shared with you, and boy, there was so much more I wanted to share with you. For example, the reason that I'm calling it the architect is because Taurus builds. Taurus is a fixed earth sign. It comes after Aries, which is the sign and energy of initiation, of, you know, coming up with something that you want to create. When Taurus is the architect, that then you give him the blueprint, as you see in that image, and you build it. So you have things like the pyramids, and you have all sorts of long-standing buildings and inventions and creations that have withstood the test of time. So as you play this month, you're going to want to ask yourself, how am I the architect of such and such? How do I build this? How do I bring this idea of mine into formation? So Taurus is the architect, and then you'll read all of this. And there's a lot of stuff that I covered, but I go a little bit more in depth in these posts. So you can look at that. So you'll definitely want to read in Taurus Key Themes, that section. You'll, in here, in the ideas for the tarot and oracle decks to use, you know by now we work not just with your charts, but with journal prompts that are going to be in a different section. But this here will tell you the kind of things to keep in mind as you choose the decks that you're going to play with. And this is also really important here. Come on, why are you going so slow? This is that image, the PDF that I have as handouts in the presentation. Here it is as an image file. And you can go ahead and choose your focus, and it gives you some of the keywords again. These are the keywords for each one of the 8 lunar phases. And then if you wanted to, you can, as my play sheet says here for guidance, pull 2 cards per phase. You can pull 1 card for the sun's message and put it here. Okay, and after the workshop today, go ahead and do this one, and 1 for the lunar message. So the sun gives you an external focus, and the moon reveals your inner state of being, right? There's objective yang energy by the sun, and internal spiritual, the soul level state of being here. And you do that, and the dates are all here. So again, just additional keywords in terms of the tarot. Taurus is represented by the Hierophant in the deck, in the major arcana. So there are some questions here for you to consider in your journaling practice. And Venus, who is the planetary ruler of Taurus, is represented by the Empress in the tarot, along with some keywords. So just play with that. Definitely spend time inside of that one. And let me see if there was, I think there is. Nope, that's it. Okay, so then we come back out to the main forum page, right? Where all of my posts are. You have go through that. I don't remember what's in there. The moon mantras is just 1 post. The play sheet is basically the download I gave you, so you can use that. So you go Taurus Key Themes, and then introduce yourself. Okay, if you don't have time for navigating the whole forum, I understand, but go Taurus Key Themes, and then the introduce yourself section. In here, I want you to introduce your energy into this group. We've already made an energetic connection by hearing each other and by being present with each other in the webinar. But now I want you to go through your deck of cards and face up, pull a card or various cards that describe where you are at this moment in time, because in 1 month your mood's going to shift, right? So write this at this time, what cards, what images depict your state of mind, your mood, your, just where you are. Take a picture of it. Here's mine. I use that myself as an example, and just kind of introduce myself, my energy into the group, okay? So you can just go ahead and click, write a comment, you click on here, add an image, and you pull the image of whatever cards you pulled, and you write something and publish, and then we'll all have it there together. Also, when introduce yourself, I normally put up everybody's chart in this section so that we can all learn from each other. I just kind of decided to get your permission if you want me to, but here's where there are keywords. You want to look in here because, let's see, for example, here it is. House number 2, issues pertaining to value, self-worth, money, finances, 3D, relationship with the mundane and matter. And house 8, issues pertaining to sexuality, shared resources, management of power, death, rebirth, alchemy, right? So most of you had the new and or the full moon in the 2nd or 8th houses. And then one of you had it in the 12th house, issues pertaining to spirituality, soul, oneness, karma, divine connection, forgiveness, and imagination. So you'll want to write that down. I have it in the 5th house, issues pertaining to creativity, love, romance, play, expression of individuality, children, and joy. So, and then that's the one I made. And this one is another one. I don't have the source for that. So there you go. And I put myself and my husband as an example. If you want me to add your chart in there, I can. Just let me know. Okay, that's it. So it's pretty basic. A card or a number of cards to introduce your energy into the group in the introduce yourself. Then you go to share your intention. And in here, you'll read what is Moonifesting, and it'll explain what the process is to set the intention. Sit with it today. If you already are clear on your intention for the month, make a statement of it, or a little short paragraph. Write about it, and pick a card after you've read this. Let's see, I'm sorry, here. Intentional goal, pulled face up. It's a picture that represents what your intention is for this cycle. And as you see here, I've added mine. So I picked face up the cards that I feel depict my intention. And then I wrote a little paragraph that describes what it is. In a nutshell, my intention is to renew my spiritual contract with the Divine One by more fully activating my life purpose on an entirely new and higher level than before. For me, it's because my nodal axis, the north and south nodes, are involved in the activation of the lunations, which has to do with life purpose and direction. So you'll do that. Then you're going to come right back out to the main forum thing. And I know it takes a while to get used to this setup, but it's way better than Facebook, believe me. Facebook has no security to begin with, and it's just really confusing. But you see that these are all like in sections. Forget that part. And so where we are now is here, step number 1. So then you're going to take, after you've introduced yourself with the cards and a description of yourself, then you're going to set the intention and share your cards that describe that intention, as well as, writing your affirmation of intent. Then you're going to pick a third card or group of cards, and it'll be based on answering any one of these questions. These are journal prompts. For example, if you want to work on the self-worth and what I value about myself idea, then you can answer and pull, how can I create a deeper sense of self-worth and learn to value myself as my greatest asset? Okay, and you pull a card. Now this will be, at this point, the cards you pull for the 8 moon phases will be like you normally do. You shuffle, you cut, you pull the card or cards. You can use tarot, or you can use oracle, or you can use both. Okay, so you can do the main card and clarifying cards, whatever works best for you. You might want to focus on answering this question instead for the new moon phase. As I am the architect and designer of my own life, what best serves me to rebuild so that I attract more stability, beauty, and grace in my earthly experience? Okay, you can do this one. How can I create a better relationship with money in order to prosper my dreams and secure a more empowered financial foundation, etc.? There's one for body. So there's different questions that relate to different aspects of the Taurus vibration. You can pick one, you can pick all. There's no rules other than just answer one, pull your cards, take a picture, journal, and share, okay? And basically, you know, you'll see additional keywords and so on. So you go back out here and you'll, create new post. You'll create new post, start a discussion within that new moon section. And then you can say, okay, Sylvia's la 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 la. You'll add a picture, add an image. So it's pretty simple. You just click add an image, and then you just add an image. Oh goodness, how do I stop this now? How do I close it? Oh no. And it'll upload it. You'll say whatever it is, and then you'll hit publish. I'm going to delete this afterwards, but I'm just showing you how to do it. You see, and there it is. So this is Sylvia's. And then each one of your new moon sharings will be in here. So just remember, in the new moon section, create new post, and you add your post. On the 26th, you'll come back in a few days on the 26th, and you'll do the same thing, but here, you see here it says April 26 to 30. That's the second moon phase that we'll be polling for. That has to do with vision, growth, clarity, order, trust, okay? This is when you put your action plan together. So all the keywords and instructions, as well as the journal prompts for the crescent phase, will be in this section. And then after that, on April 30th through May 4th, you'll pull a card and journal relating to the prompts that are going to be in this section, and so on with all 8 phases. And of course, the final one will be the 8th, when we come to closure, May 18th through the 22nd. And at some point, May 22nd, we go from balsamic to the next lunar month, which will be the Gemini new moon. And that's when this particular journey ends. If you have questions, come in here and put all questions here. So that we kind of keep it nice and clean and neat. And that's it, I guess. I'd like to know if you guys have, oh, and if you end up going here, if you click on that, it's going to take you to the main Lunar Journey website. Any day now. Come on, you're going too slow. You're going too slow. It feels like Mercury retrograde. Anyways, if you do end up in the Lunar Journey main website, you just click on forum and click on Taurus forum, and you'll always be taken back to this private group. All right. Oh, I know. Very, very important. Click on members. This I need all of you to do. And here are all of the current members. There's a couple people missing. But you see where I am? I need you to, you see how I'm following all of, oh no, there's a couple new ones. I just clicked on Callie, following, Lucy, follow. That way, whenever any of you guys post, since I'm the facilitator, I get to see when you post. I get a notification that says, oh, Lori just posted, or oh, Karen just posted. I see some of you haven't joined yet. I need you to join, okay? So what I need you to do is you need to go to my picture, and you'll see on your end it says follow. Click on that so you can get notifications from me specifically as the guide and facilitator here as to when I post, you know, reminders or new information, etc. And you can create your own little profile. It's way better than having a Facebook group, trust me. Okay, and I don't know, I guess that's it. So let me now see if you guys have any questions whatsoever on any of this. I wanted to do another thing, which is to show you real quick. So how do I stop screen sharing? No, that's not it. So tarot cards, I don't know if you guys saw the video I posted. Audience view. Come on, how do I share my webcam again? Oh, anyways, I don't know. Hopefully you guys are able to see on the screen. I'm trying to. Here's one, the Celtic Wisdom Tarot. These are all, as you can see, very earthy kind of decks. There's the Sacred India Tarot, the New Earth Tarot. I love this deck. And Songs for the Journey Home is an Australian deck, a very small one. It's really beautiful. You know, I mentioned yesterday the Botticelli, anything that's made by an artist. The Japarids is beautiful. Earth, you know, forest, the Druid craft would be good. And then as far as the as far as the oracles, you know, you can pick things like this one, the chakra mindset. There's lots of chakra decks, so you might want to consider chakra decks. I'm moving it back and forth because I don't know where the camera is pointing right now. Anything that has to do with earth in terms of herbs and floral type of oracle decks is really nice. Of course, any decks that have to do with crystals. This is a crystal ally deck. I had just shown you the magic of flowers. Any shamanic or shaman related, such as the mystical shaman oracle, is very nice. Anything with indigenous traditions, the sacred path cards. The chakra labyrinth is beautiful because Taurus has a relationship to the labyrinth, of course, and that's something I talk about in the astrology class. And any decks that have to do with your body, such as the body cards, insight from the body, wisdom for the soul. So that gives you a good sense of some things that you can do. Please, let me show you something, one last thing, and I think I'm going to end on this. I just really wish I could see the webcam. I can't see the webcam. All right, so here's flowers. So I had my husband went and picked some little wildflowers and weeds, which are truly beautiful, from our property. So have flowers somewhere. Remember, Venus is about beauty. So Taurus, the flowers remind us. So if this is the Taurus end of the spectrum, these living flowers, you know, that are still fresh and alive. And then here's one that my father, for some bizarre reason, pulled up from the roots. I don't know why, some days ago. And I must have been accidentally, I don't know. But these are dead, they're dry now. So this is the Scorpio end of the spectrum. So we have Taurus and we have Scorpio life force, and this is still life force, just through death has gone to sleep. So I just wanted to encourage you to work with some of the flowers and stuff, and then with sacred geometry, which is one of my favorite subjects. You know, we're Taurus is the building blocks. So spend some time also considering what are the building blocks of who you are. And as I have said ad infinitum today, really honor yourself for those building blocks, okay? I think, let me make sure, did I go through all my notes? Da-da-da-da. Yes, I'm going to finish with Kylie. Oh, attendees. I think I did, everybody. Any questions, guys? If anybody does, raise your hand so that I can unmute you. Okay, I guess not. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to all of you. Kylie, stay on so that I can do your chart real quick, and I will see you in the group. All right, my love to all of you. Bless you. Thanks for being here. Let's make it a really awesome month. Bye, guys. Kylie, stay on. You guys are welcome to stay while I quickly pull up Kylie's chart, which would be nice. That way you guys can witness hers as well. Kylie. And the tri-wheel chart. Let's go with the pen. Let's find where, oh, good, we have a different house. So for Kylie, it's the 9th house, you know, almost 10th. So, so here we have where it's mathematically and technically inside the 9th house, which has to do with long journeys, higher education, publishing, teaching, or attending higher education or expanded education, looking to expand your consciousness, Kylie, beyond the norm. So how can you take the gifts, talents, and abilities that you're polishing off and bring them into the global market, or in some way share this part of yourself in some bigger way, as either a teacher or polishing them off through attending classes that help you to gain better access to it. It also has to do with expanding who you believe you've previously believed yourself to be through, in this case, because of the Taurus Scorpio axis, you know, this is quintessential belief systems in the 9th house. And not just 9th, but also it's going to pull in, and this is why I'm doubtful as to whether to read it in the 9th or really the 10th, 4th house, which I just circled for you. So you can play with the 9th house in general, but I'm actually going to suggest, since it's so close to the 10th house, which is the midheaven, as well as the 4th house at the full moon, which is the MoonCoaching IC, I'd actually encourage you to focus more on that, which everything we've been discussing within the sector of life that has to do with career, social standing, legacy, which is all 10th, your reputation, how you show up in the world, how you're seen in the world, etc. And the 4th house, which is where the illumination comes in, is your literal home, your family, the training that you received in your childhood home, your that which gave you your DNA, your genetics, right? Your family. What was I going to do? Oh, here. In your case, I was going to use the pyramid again to show. So the 10th house, okay, where the seed is being planted, is, if you'll imagine, you are building a long-standing structure that will last beyond your time on the earth. So this is why the 10th house is the house of legacy. And it is also the 4th and the 10th are what I call the personal tree of life. So that's what's up for you. It's like, okay, how do I blend family and career? How do I, you know, because, oh, you also have Neptune and Scorpio, and it's right there on the 9th, I'm sorry, on the 4th house. So there might be some excavation of spiritual beliefs that need to be reviewed and understood and cleared, so that the actual psychic structure of your beingness is actually founded on what you want as opposed to what you've inherited from family or you know, past indoctrinations. And then it has it also has a sense of connection to that legacy, what you've been called to do. So of everybody, you're the one that has the career piece most involved with this month's lunar journey. We're all of us are looking at those building blocks of what makes us special, what are the gifts that we're going to bring into our experience and our exploration of self-expression, whether that's with family, that's with friends, or in our careers, in our businesses, in our sacred work. All of us get to do that. But in terms of Kylie's experience, it is also going to be in experienced across that field of how do I now express it in my career, okay? And that's about it. So I'll expect you to post in the group as well, Kylie. I think that's it, guys. Let me check one last time. Make sure. All right. You take care, my friends. And I will see you online. So this is Silvia Pancaro, Moon Coach. Thank you once again for being here. Bless you and love you. Bye-bye.